grief and loss, trauma, mental health, alcohol and drug use, gender roles, anger management, self-esteem, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and the pressures of societal norms or real-life issues that affect men. Join Rolando, psychotherapist, author, life coach, and motivational speaker that has dedicated his profession to working with men to find a healthier alternative to cope and handle these stressors. Rolando believes that men are lacking in social, psychological, emotional, and spiritual support that is necessary for a lifestyle that promotes healthy masculinity. We invite you to join us on XY Spark, where we discuss issues that men face. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.
This is great. Thank you for joining us again at XY Spark. It's another beautiful day. The summer is here. It's nice outside. I do hope that you have some plans to get home early this evening and go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go jogging, go for a picnic. I do hope that so far you have been doing well. For those of us out there who are continuing to survive amidst this pandemic, I want to say kudos to you. Some of us out there, I've been hearing the stats, a lot of persons have gotten vaccinated and the numbers are going down, and they're slowly planning to reopen different places around Canada and the world. So guys, I think we're slowly on the up and up. So that's good news, right? That's good news. So can we celebrate that? Yay! Yeah, I know my celebration doesn't sound too exciting, but that's the best of me. So forgive me if it's not as like woohoo, sort of excitement. But today I wanted to share with you a thought. And at XY Spark, we continue to encourage men to promote healthy masculinity. Today I want you to reflect on this, that there are two different characteristics that are in conflict with each other, wherein if we're not careful as men, our lives will go in the direction that either one of these guys have more dominance in our lives. So let's talk a little bit about who these two forces or two characters or two personalities are. Character number one, ego. And number two, humility. These two personality traits are constantly in conflict with each other, because one tends to show up without notice. The other, we need to train ourselves to present as we interact with our friends or family members at work and in the community. As men, naturally, we allow ego to dictate. That's why sometimes if we go to the gym, for example, or if we're an athlete, or if we're an engineer, or if we're in a managerial position, there's a certain pride that goes with that, and along comes the ego to accompany that pride, and all of a sudden we present this front where people are not very attracted to us because we have to protect the image. And that image that we're protecting feeds on ego. Ego says to us, don't ask for help. Ego says to us, you got this. Ego says to us, you can fix the problem by yourself. You don't need anybody else. Ego says to us, I am who I am. It is what it is. If you don't like me the way I am, well, you can go wherever. Ego closes us off from allowing us to expose ourselves to new learning. Ego brings us into that corner where we're not willing to accept faults and come down from our high horses and say, I was wrong. That's ego. Humility, on the other hand, walks into the room and says, hey, you know what? I could use your help. Humility walks into the room and says, you know what? I'm in pain and I could use a shoulder to cry on or a shoulder to lean on. Humility comes into the room and says, hey, I don't have all the answers. Humility comes into the room and says, hey, no man is an island. No man stands alone. Humility comes into the room and says, hey, you know what? We can do this together. And so, I'm not sure what your role is. I'm not sure if even now you're driving in your truck or your car, you may be on your way to the airport, you may be going to visit friends, you may just have gotten up from bed, or you're on your way to home. I want you to look at yourself and ask yourself this. Am I the guy that's been feeding ego and ignoring humility? Am I the guy that has been portraying more ego than humility? And if I'm that guy, what have I got to lose if I start sitting down and eating or drinking from the well of humility? What harm can it be if I learn to humble myself so that I can grow? And so here's what I want you to reflect on today. There are two guys who don't keep company: ego and humility. And so here's what I want you to think about as you go on your way today. As far as I'm concerned, I have to learn to feed humility and starve my ego. So this is the expression I want you to capture today. It's time for me to starve my ego and feed humility so that I can be more balanced. It's time for me to feed humility and starve ego so that I can be more balanced. I don't know who you are. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but reflect on this today and think about the amazing things that you can do and the amazing places that you can go and the amazing heights that you can reach to if you just learn to be a bit more humble. This is your boy Ron with XY Spark. Thank you for joining us. We continue to remind you that there is a spark in you.
Please join Rolando next time on XY Spark as he engages us in practical discussions that promotes healthy masculinity and challenge men to live extraordinary lives. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.